Now we enter into the Bhagavad Gita. Because this inspires me so much, where my mind is constantly cooking on the ideas of Gita. So by your grace and blessings, I am able to cook, and I always cook fresh so that I can serve fresh, because my Bhiksha families, they cook fresh and serve me fresh. Therefore, the food for your thought, I want to make it as fresh as possible. So since it's chapter 2, chapter 1 is very easy to introduce. Chapter 1, suppose I have to give chapter 16, I have to give the introduction for chapter up to 15th chapter I have to introduce. Now is only chapter 2. So chapter 1 is very easy. So first chapter is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Vishada means sorrow, dejection, despondency, all this. When living becomes very difficult, man feels dying is better. Death is better. That's what Arjuna says in chapter 1. You may refer in verse 46, almost the concluding, last but one. Arjuna says, Yedi mam apratikaram ashastram shastrapaneyaha dhartarashtraha rane hanyuhu tanme kshemataram bhavet. This is Arjuna's feeling. He says, Yadi mam apratikaram ashastram. Me who is unresisting and unarmed. And Yadi shastrapaneyaha dhartarashtraha mam rane hanyuhu. And if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, and they were to slay me in battle, tanme kshemataram bhavet. That is better for me. So it is better even if I am killed. And Arjuna feels, for the sake of peace, it is better that I die for the sake of peace. Our Lord Krishna himself Lord Krishna went as a peacemaker. Shanti Dut, he went. Nothing happened, but Arjuna is thinking now, it is better even if I am killed for the sake of peace. And Arjuna stopped talking. This is not vairagya whatsoever, no vairagya whatsoever. It's because of his terrible attachment to his own people. Lord Krishna is silent. Therefore, Sanjaya takes over. Sanjaya, the charioteer of Dhritarashtra, because he has to give, because the whole Gita dialogues are happening between Krishna and Arjuna. Nobody around. And how do we know? Therefore, Vedavyasa gives the blessings to Sanjaya that he can see what is happening in the battlefield. Oh, Swamiji, was it a Skype? Was it a Zoom? Much more than Zoom, because you and I can see only your physical face. Sometimes I can see whether you're understanding or not by your nod. So you better nod even if you don't understand. But never nod like this. I will understand that's the nodding of sleep. So even if you nod your face, how will I know that you really understood? I say now and then I will ask Dinesh to put my disclaimer. I hope you know my disclaimer. I am not responsible for what you understand. I am not at all responsible for what you understand. I am only responsible for what I say. I am not responsible for what you understand. Oh, Swamiji, this is what I understood. I am not responsible for it. You are responsible. So that Sanjaya not only can see the external, what is happening around, but also what is happening in the mind of Arjuna. much more advanced science at the time. The rishis could, rishi means a seer. When he is a seer, he can bless others with that vision. So Vyasa, Veda Vyasa gives that vision to Sanjaya. So Sanjaya is our communicator. So he takes us to the battlefield, and then he takes us to the palace. So Sanjaya is explaining to the king what is King Dhritarashtra, the blind king. So Sanjaya means one who has conquered, Samyak Jayati. He has conquered his sense BMI. Therefore, he can be the communicator. And the student is the blind king Dhritarashtra, the two king. And Sanjaya is like a secretary below, like in the modern times education. The student feels that he is paying the professor, he is paying the teacher. That attitude in the Gita. In the Upanishads and all, it is different. Nachiketa, the sacred student. And the Guru also much more godly Guru. So it is not Upanishads, it is the Gita. But Veda Vyasa had made the Gita in such a way, he brought the essence of the Upanishads and packed into it for the modern man. We all can easily identify with Arjuna, the man of action. He's a dynamic person. So Gita is meant for all dynamic people. So when Arjuna stopped talking, Sanjaya takes over. So Sanjaya says in verse 47, the last verse in chapter 1, Sanjaya Uvacha. So Sanjaya says, Eva Muktva Arjuna Sankhye Rathopastha Upavishat Visrujya Sasharam Chapam Shoka Samvigna Manasa. So Sanjaya declares, Eva Muktva Arjuna Sankhye, Sankhye in the battlefield, having thus spoken. Who? Arjuna. So Arjuna having spoken in this manner. What manner? The last verse, unresisting and unarmed, if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to slay me in battle, that will be better. It is better to die for the sake of peace. That's what Arjuna said and kept quiet. So Arjuna having spoken in this manner, in the battlefield, in the middle of the battlefield, Rathopasthe, Ratha Upasthe Upavishat. Arjuna sank down on the seat of the chariot. How? Visrujya Sasharam Chapam. He threw away his chapam, his bow. He threw it away. And what is physically? He threw away the arms, the weapons. And mental attitude? Shoka Samvigna Manasa. So Arjuna sank down on the seat of the chariot, throwing away his bow and arrows, his mind completely overwhelmed by sorrow. For a first-time reader, it will appear, oh, what a vairagya. For the sake of peace, Arjuna is ready to die. What vairagya? No vairagya whatsoever. It's terrible attachment to his own people. No real detachment. There's a very nice funny thing. There was a man. He started telling all his neighbors about him taking sannyas. He's telling everybody he meets, I'm taking sannyas, I'm taking sannyas. Started informing all the neighbors about his date of detachment. So when he started, everybody came to know that he is taking sannyas, he's taking sannyas. And they all knew his date of detachment. On that day of detachment, all the neighbors gather around. Because everybody likes somebody going means they all like. So all the neighbors came and all started crying. They started crying that he's going, he's taking sannyas. So all started crying. And this man also in the center sitting around them, he's also started crying. Neighbors all crying around is understandable. He also, the man who said, I'm taking sannyas, he also sitting in the center, started crying loudly. All crying. Why? Taking sannyas. What will happen? Next train, he will come back. He will return. If we are weak within, outside world becomes very powerful. When you are very healthy, strong, very, healthy, alert, vigilant, you climb the escalator, which is coming down. Because you're so healthy, you climb the escalator you start climbing up on the escalator, which is coming down. Imagine that, but that much of energy you have. But when you are sick, even to go to your attached bathroom, it will be difficult. That is the case of Arjuna here. So first chapter is the case history of our hero, Arjuna, entitled Arjuna Vishada Yoga. So Vishada means sorrow, dejection, despondency. Dejection as yoga. Imagine. Dejection by itself is not yoga. Imagine if dejection is yoga, then we all are Mahayogis, great yogis, if dejection itself is yoga. But when dejection leads us, when sorrow takes us to inquiry, then Vishada is yoga. So for Arjuna, it took him to inquiry. It led him to inquiry. Therefore, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Duryodhana also had sorrows. But his sorrow did not take him to inquiry. Therefore, there is no Duryodhana Vishada Yoga. Duryodhana and Vishada, no doubt, but there is no yoga. So when our sorrow takes us to inquiry, understand that sorrow is worth going through. And Lord Krishna also, if you see, Lord Krishna did not change anything outside. Yogeshwara Krishna, he can do anything he wants. Kartum, akartum, anyatha kartum shakya. Anything he wants, he can do. But still, Arjuna did not change the outside situation. He only changed Arjuna. So inner transformation was brought by Lord Krishna. So personality rehabilitation is the theme of the Holy Gita. You all know that when there's a small flickering flame, you can just, even a small little wind can blow it off. But if it's a huge conflagration, same wind will help it to spread. So therefore, be a conflagration, not a small flickering flame. You might have heard about, like, there was a line and it was told, make this line look small, without doing anything to that line. Don't touch that line. Without touching that line, make it appear small. Make it small without touching it. How can you do? Just draw a big line next to it. When you draw a big line next to it, that line will look very small, isn't it? So too, without changing the world outside, make yourself big and make the world look small. But if there is terrible attachment, the terrible attachment creates distortion. You can imagine a beautiful painting, mural, huge painting. But if you are viewing that painting from 2 inches, 2 inches distance, you are looking at the huge painting. What will be your understanding of that painting? Isn't it? So too, if I look at the world, the huge, the vast world with I and my, if I look at the world with 2 inches, that is I, my, then what happens? The whole world will be distorted. I can't have the vision of the beautiful universe. But if you step back stand apart and watch the tamasha. Gurudev always used to say, watch the tamasha. That too with 20/20 vision, watching from 20 feet distance with the 20/20 vision. Then what happens? At 20/20 vision, you get to experience. The world is wonderful, gorgeous universe. Look at the world as a beautiful painting, not from 2 inches, I and my. With I and my, you look distorted. But stand apart and watch. You can enjoy the world as a park, a museum, arboretum. Especially like a museum, you can enjoy. Oh, you may say, Swamiji, why did you show this museum? I can't take anything from here. Try taking something from the museum, then you will know. Even if you touch anything there, the guard comes and scolds you. It happened to me once there when one of the museum. I just wanted to, I didn't read, do not touch, but I went and touched them. Immediately that guard came, you there, you, he started shouting at me. My guru told me, whenever somebody shouts, pretend that you don't know their language. Start talking your own language. Kya bol rahe ji? Aap kya bata rahe hain? And the guard says, these people don't know the language also and they disturb it. Go, go, go. He started only giving the indication. And I did namaskar. I hope he understood the namaskar. Walked out. So don't even touch it, let alone taking it. So enjoy the world like a museum, standing apart. And if you see the Lord, God created this universe so beautiful. He says, I created heaven and man creates hell out of it. You know the story of heaven and hell. The elbow. Without in heaven and hell, there's no elbow joint. When you go to hell and heaven, there's no elbow joint. In heaven, they feed each other. Therefore, it is heaven. Parasparam bhavayanta. If you are helping each other, means without bending the elbow. The bending the elbow is a sign of selfishness. So without selfishness and selfish desires when you're serving, it is heaven. So same situation can be viewed from 4 levels. 4 levels of viewing the same situation. One can be the physical level, emotional level, intellectual level, spiritual level. That's in the PMI chart, physical level, emotional level, intellectual level. First chapter, case history of Arjuna. Like your doctors make a case history. And nowadays, doctors look at the chart and prescribe. Not for you, for the chart. And if you are not cured, it is not the doctor's fault because he was consulting only the chart, not the patient. So the first chapter is case history of Arjuna. The first chapter shows the chart of Arjuna's disease of shoka, sorrow. Shoka, samvigna, manasa. Even the shoka, all of us know. Shoka means sorrow. Sorrow we know. But the cause of sorrow, we don't know. The cause of sorrow, shoka, the sorrow is only an effect, not the cause. Shoka, sorrow is an effect. What's the cause of sorrow? Moha. Moha means delusion. Delusion here. Look at me. Delusion here, illusion there. That is the fact. Delusion of the rope here, illusion of the snake there. Think. Delusion of the mirage here, illusion of the water there. So moha is the cause. Shoka is the effect. But shoka can do much more. Shoka, the effect, intensifies the cause moha. So effect intensifies the cause. Sorrow intensifies the delusion. So to this Arjuna who is in sorrow, Bhagavan gives the entire art of living, how to live in this world. Even a desperate person can rekindle the joys. He can regain the enthusiasm to live. He can heroically and dynamically face all the challenges in the world. He can face the challenges cheerfully. So now we enter into chapter 2. Atha Dvitiyodhyayaha Sankhya Yogaha. So Sankhya Yoga is the yoga of analysis, step-by-step analysis. So we will start with the first verse. So I will chant the verse and our Manini will be repeating. Sanjaya Uvacha
Sanjaya Uvacha
Tam Tatha Kripaya Vishtam
Tam Tatha Kripaya Vishtam
Ashrupurna Kulekshanam
Ashrupurna Kulekshanam
Vishidantamidam Vakyam
Vishidantamidam Vakyam
Uvacha Madhusudanaha.
Uvacha Madhusudanaha.
Sanjaya Uvacha. So Sanjaya is reporting. He says, Tam. Tam means who? Here. Tam Arjunam. That Arjuna. Tatha Kripaya Avishtam. To him, that is Arjuna, who was thus overwhelmed with sorrow. A misplaced pity. So sorrow is at the mental level, at the mind level, at the mental level, sorrow. Overwhelmed by pity. Pity is good. Compassion is good. As long as you are driving the emotion. Emotions are beautiful as long as you are driving it. Supposing the emotion is driving you. If you are driving the car, wonderful. But if the car is driving you, oh, Swamiji is a Tesla, Swamiji. No, Tesla drives better than you. So, car driving means in the sleet, icy condition of the road. I don't know how Tesla will drive in the icy condition. Even Tesla cannot drive in icy condition. Because what can you do if it is sliding? It happened to me. I was returning from Salisbury and heavy snow. And my charioteer was driving me. And it's a beautiful car, Benz, new car, beautifully going. But in that condition, because of the icy condition, the Benz suddenly became spaceship. It was going sideways. When the car is going sideways, I looked at my driver and said, what are you doing? What are you doing? So, Swamiji, what can I'm applying anti-brakes. Anti-brakes I'm applying, but still the car is going. And opposite the traffic is coming. Now what will I do? Immediately, I always carry my japa mala. Immediately I took my mala and started vigorously doing japa. Luckily, the people coming from the opposite direction also, they saw the car, they knew our condition. So they also started moving into the other lanes and luckily the car went and it was a little ditch like it stuck. This is the condition. The car is taking you for a ride. So emotions are beautiful, but only when you are using it, you are driving it. It can enchant everyone, but if the emotion is driving you, so here Arjuna is overwhelmed by pity. So his mind is taking him for a ride. Then what about his physical condition, mentally overwhelmed, no control, lost control over his emotions. What about the physical? Ashrupurna akula ikshanam. Ashrupurna akula ikshanam means his eyes were dimmed with tears. He was distressed with tears in his eyes. He's asking for Kleenex. Krishna, this is the physical condition. Imagine a kshatriya, a warrior. They can face every challenge. That famous warrior Arjuna, tears dripping down his face. This is the condition of his physical condition. Mentally overwhelmed, physically crying, warrior crying, a kshatriya crying. What about his intellectual condition? Vishidantam, sad, dejected, despairing, despondent. This is the intellect condition. Gurudev has already told you what is despondency. Despondency means you want to kick them. You know that they are wrong. Arjuna knew that the Kauravas, especially Duryodhana and his brothers, they're all felons. They have to be killed. Arjuna knows that they are bad, but still he can't kick them. Because Bhishma, Drona, all powerful people are in Duryodhana's side. So you know you want to kick them, but you feel I can't kick. They are more powerful. The feeling that rises, that is called despondency. You may not understand this in your own office. Your boss left and right insults you in front of everyone. What will you do? You want to retaliate. You want to give him your peace of mind. What will you do? Will you give back the same insult to your boss? At that time, you remember your wife, your small children, and new one coming. So what do? If you you start abusing the boss, you will be fired. And when you are fired, wife, children, and the new one coming, all will be suffering. So for their sake, you swallow all the insults and just smile. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. You want to kick him, but you can't. And then after the boss leaves, the feeling that rises in you, that is called despondency. That's when most of the work office, when you go for interview, they'll first ask you, those who really want you permanent, they'll ask, are you married? If you say no, they say, we will let you know. But when you say, I am married, then they understand he will be patient, because married people have to be patient. So he knows the art of patience. So even if I kick him, he will not leave. Why? Family. So the despondency means where I want to kick, but I can't kick. The feeling that rises is Vishada or Vishidantam. So Vishidantam Arjunam, to that Arjuna, idam vakyam uvacha Madhusudanaha. Madhusudana, idam vakyam uvacha. So Madhusudana, Lord Krishna, one of his titles, one of his various glorious names, Madhusudana. Madhu means honey. Sudana, one who destroyed the demon called Madhu. Madhu was a demon. So Sudana means destroyer. Destroyer of the demon Madhu. Madhu means honey. I know all your spouses, they call you. All the spouse calling honey. Honey means what? And the spouse is calling you honey, understand. She's calling you demon, demon, demon. You don't understand it. So next time when you hear honey, understand. Demon. Honey is very sweet, isn't it? Honey is very sweet, very dear to all. So too, ego. Ego is very, very dear. So Madhusudana means destroyer of the ego. One who destroys your ego is Madhusudanaha, destroyer of the dear ego. So, hey Madhusudana, also he addresses. So, Madhusudanaha idam vakyam uvacha. So, Madhusudana spoke these words. What did the destroyer of the ego, Madhusudana? Because Arjuna's problem is ego problem. An ego specialist is Lord Krishna, Madhusudanaha. So, to him who was thus overwhelmed, to him means to that Arjuna, to Arjuna was thus overwhelmed with pity and sorrowing, whose eyes were dimmed with tears, who was distressed with tears in his eyes, Madhusudanaha spoke these words. And when Lord is speaking, Lord is ego specialist. He will not nourish the ego, but he will blast the ego. So Lord's, he'll be almost like whipping, the lashing verses you can hear now. And now when you're chanting the next two verses, the tune should not be a very sorrowful tune. Imagine if you start chanting, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Utastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupasti. Then it'll become Krishna's Vishada Yoga. You should be as though you're lashing, whipping. That should be the way of chanting also. But what to do, for the sake of the tune, we may have to chant little bit. But we will chant it in a rebuking tune, not crying tune. We don't. It's not Krishna Vishada Yoga. It's Arjuna Vishada Yoga. So Arjuna is dejected. Krishna is not dejected. So let us chant with a whipping style. Ready? Verse 2. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Utastva Kashmalamidam
Kutastva Kashmalamidam
Vishame Samupasthitam
Vishame Samupastitam
Anarya Jushtamasvargyam
Anarya Jushtamasvargyam
Akirtikaram Arjuna.
Akirtikaram Arjuna.
Very good.
Very good.
See, beautiful chanting. So, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Nowhere in the Gita it is said Krishna or Krishna Uvacha, Madhusudana Uvacha, Madhava Uvacha, nowhere. Arjuna may coin the names. But in the Gita it is said Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, because Lord Krishna is the Yogeshwara Krishna here. He is identifying with the pure consciousness Chinmaya. So as Chinmaya Krishna, he is giving the Gita knowledge. So he is Yogeshwara Krishna, Bhagavan himself. So Bhagavan Uvacha. What is Bhagavan says? Hey Arjuna, Kutastva Kashmalamidam Samupastitam. Idam Kashmalam Tva Kutaha Samupastitam. From where did you get this infection? Where did you get this virus? This dejection, dirt, Kashmalam. Lord Krishna is scolding him like a Tamil person. In the Chennai, local, on the roadside language, like, hey, Kasmalam, they'll say. Tamil people only know that. Oh, dirty one, useless one. That sort of. So this dejection, dirt, from where did you get it? Kutaha. From where this Kashmalam has come? That too, Vishame. Vishame Samupastitam. Vishame means in such a critical time. Imagine when you go to the examination hall and when the papers are given and the papers are given, paper in front of you, at that time, mind blackout. Imagine. When you are preparing and all, studying at that time, blackout, understandable. But when the examination has paper in front of you. You have to start writing. Time is clicking. At that time, mind blackout. What will you do? Terrible. Many of you must have experienced it. What all you prepared, all blackout, blank mind. Because last minute, if you are studying, that too night out, without sleeping, only drinking tea, then what will happen? At the time of examination, mind blackout. But those who have not got that experience, when you are at home, mind blackout, that's okay. That too, if your mind is blackout at your home, that too you have a very understanding family. Your mind is blackout. Mind experience is blackout. Generally, your family members understand. He's generally like that, Swamiji. He sits like a stone. This very understanding family. But in your office, mind blackout. That too on a Wednesday. Because Wednesday is the only time some work happens. Because crucial time is Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning alone, some work is turned out. Because Saturday, you are going out with all the toys. What all toys? Boat, bicycle, all the, to get weekend party. So you go with all your boat, bicycle, all those things, all the toys you have to get weekend. And you return back late Sunday night. And what do you do Monday and Tuesday? Talk about how you got weekend. And Wednesday morning is the only time people get some work done. So in such a crisis on a Wednesday morning, your mind blackout, terrible. This dejection, dirt, kashmalam, from where did you get? Hey Arjuna. And he adds, hey Arjuna, anarya justam. Anarya justam means it is un-Aryan. Very nice, it is anarya justam. It is un-Arya like. Un-Arya like means, don't imagine, start imagining Aryans and Dravidians. Krishna had nothing to do about those. Arya means noble. Un-Aryan, anarya justam means un-Arya like. Not noble, ignoble, dishonorable in thoughts and deeds. That is called anarya. Anarya justam, lacking in nobility in character. Lacking nobility in character. Unworthy of a spiritual seeker. You might have heard in the all the TV series and all, Pauranika mythological series. Aryaputra, the wife calls. The wife calls her husband Aryaputra. Aryaputra means Arya's son. Means the father is Arya. The father is noble, not the son. So, son of the noble man, son of the noble father. Because the wife knows the husband's characteristics. So she calls him Aryaputra, Aryaputra. So father is great. So anarya means un-Arya like, not noble, ignoble. So anarya justam, anarya like, is ignoble. Akirtikaram. Akirtikaram means it is disgraceful, shameful, shocking for everyone that Arjuna did that. That sort of attitude. Akirtikaram. It will not bring you any fame. You are such a great person. But this is Akirtikaram. It will be so disgraceful in the future. Not only that, Aswargyam. Contrary to the attainment of heaven, even after death, this ignoble attitude will not give any heavenly joys. So, hey Arjuna, it is disgraceful. Heaven and hell may be later, but even here in this world, Akirtikaram. In history, you will be recorded. How they'll record you? They will say, once upon a time, there was a great hero called Arjuna. He was the greatest hero until the war came. That's how they'll record. your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and great-great-great-grandchildren will be ashamed to take your name. And when they go and introduce themselves, they'll ask, oh, you are related to that Arjuna, and what to do? You look down. They laugh at you. So you can see in the verses how Lord is lashing at Arjuna. So, hey Arjuna, kutastva kashmalamidam samupastitam. From where did you get this? From where has this despair come upon you? Imagine suddenly when the Zoom, only my Zoom is not working. Means you can only, what do you call? You can see my lip movement and you can't hear the sound. I am barking here, but you can't hear. What will you do? And the people, the hosts and all, they are telling me, Swamiji, we can't hear you. Swamiji, we can't hear you. And I am barking here. What will I do? When the Zoom video, my Zoom is not working properly. So I start despairing and sitting on the floor, start crying. That I cannot, nobody can hear me. Nobody can. If I am sitting on the floor and start crying, what will you say? You will say, Swamiji, where did you get this virus? And you may also say, Swamiji, you what to do? You don't worry, Swamiji. It is we who will have to suffer because we have to listen to you. Now we are a little bit a relief. At least we are a little bit happy now. We can watch your lip moving. If I despair, you will tell me that from where did you get this Kashmalam? So to Krishna is asking Arjuna from where, because this is not Arjuna's nature. It is not his swabhava. Arjuna was known as a very courageous hero. But where did you get this? Means it is somewhere it has come, some virus has come. From where you got it? So Krishna is thinking from where he must have got. And Gurudev used to tell us, when before the war started, Sanjaya visits Arjuna because Dhritarashtra, the blind king Dhritarashtra, sends Sanjaya silent. He tells Sanjaya, go and give this message only to Arjuna. Make sure Arjuna is alone. Make sure, especially that black guy, that Krishna is not around. When Krishna is not around, then you give this message. No reply needed. Just give this message and come back. Dhritarashtra was the pioneer in psychological warfare. We know the biological warfare, all those things. But Dhritarashtra is the father of psychological warfare. He sends Sanjaya to Arjuna with a message. No reply required. What message? So Sanjaya meets Arjuna secretly and tells, hey Arjuna, the king wants to tell you this. So Dhritarashtra, he has to give that message. So Sanjaya talks in the direct speech as though Dhritarashtra is giving. Oh Arjuna, you are so dear to me and you are so intelligent. You are wise. You know my condition. My children are useless. They will not listen to me. They disrespect me and they will never listen. But you are intelligent. You love me. You will listen to me. So this war, what will happen in the war? Bhishma, your grandsire will be there. Drona, your teacher also will be there. Would you like to kill them? Would you kill them? My sons are useless. They are wicked. I know that they are wicked. But for their wickedness sake, would you kill your grandsire and your guru? You can understand. Why can't at least you give it up? Hey Arjuna, please think. Please give up. Please, you take sannyas. You go to Himalayas. And already you went to tapas and all. Now, at the time you went for tapas for Pashupata and all. But now, you can go for real sannyas. That's the psychological time bomb he has kept. And when Krishna took the chariot in front of Bhishma and Drona, that psychic bomb blasts. That's why Arjuna will say all those in future. So Krishna could detect that. But now when the Even though Krishna is using these harsh words, Anaryajustam, Aswargyam, Akirtikaram, yet it is not working on Arjuna. Imagine if your boss is too drunk and he is falling on the sidewalk. You have to take him home. That is your responsibility. So what do? He's not getting up. Your boss. So at that time, you will, if you're a real intelligent guy, you will give him one or two. Your boss, you know that. But when he is really in awareness, you cannot do it. But this is your chance. You give one or two, and he's what? Get up. Now come into the car. Slowly, at least he will walk and come into the car. Then you can take him to the car and take him to his house. At least some people will be there to help and put him in bed. So to Krishna is lashing at Arjuna. The next verse is more severe. Let us read verse number 3. Klaibyam masmagamah partha.
Klaibyam asmagamah partha.
Naitatvayupapadyate.
Naitatvayupapadyate.
Kshudram hridaya daurbalyam.
Kshudram hridaya daurbalyam.
Yaktvotishtha parantapa.
Yaktvotishtha parantapa.
So again, Bhagavan is saying, see the words, Klaibyam masmagamah partha. Hey Partha, hey son of Pritha. Klaibyam masmagamah. Do not yield to unmanliness. Yield not to cowardliness. See the shock therapy, the burning words. Klaibyam means don't be like a eunuch. If you're a eunuch, you're fit for the harem attendant. VIP, not very important person, very important person. Don't be important. Warfield is not Nartanashala. Imagine in that 1 year incognito, Arjuna was like a eunuch. He was teaching dance to the princess. And there, even as a eunuch, you fought to help Uttara Kumara. There also you were brave as a eunuch as well. Isn't it? So, hey Partha, Klaibyam masmagamah. Do not yield to cowardliness. Naitatvayi, na etatvayi upapadyate, etatvayi na upapadyate. This does not befit you. It is not nice on you. It looks horrible in you. Kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktva. This kshudram, mean. Hridaya daurbalyam, weakness of heart. Give up this stupid, superstitious weakness of heart. Don't be a coward, like that Uttara Kumara at that time. So give up this for cowardice. Hey Parantapa, Uttishta, arise. Hey Parantapa, oh vanquisher of enemies. Arjuna is known as Parantapa. He vanquished all his enemies. So, oh vanquisher of all enemies, Uttishta, get up, as though slapping him. Arjuna feels Krishna is not able to understand. Krishna is not understanding him. Like any teen would say, like a teen, Arjuna says, you don't get it, do you? Because many teens have told me, Swamiji, you don't get it, do you? So Arjuna laments. How he laments? Let us see the next verse. The fourth verse. Arjuna uvacha.
Arjuna uvacha.
Katham bhishmamaham sankhye.
Katham bhishmamaham sankhye.
Dronam cha madhusudana.
Dronam cha madhusudana.
Ishubih pratiyotsyami.
Eshubhih pratiyotsyami.
Pujarha Varisudana.
Pujarha Varisudana.
So beautiful. Hey Madhusudana, Krishna is saying, oh destroyer of ego. Hey Madhusudana, Aham, I, Bhishmam Dronam cha. Bhishma, my grandsire. Drona, my guru. Sankhye, in the battlefield, in battle. Katham pratiyotsyami. How can I fight my grandsire Bhishma and my guru Drona in battle? How can I fight them? That too with arrows. Ishubi katham pratiyotsyami. How can I shoot arrows at my grandsire and my guru? Shooting with arrows. Even fighting with words, I cannot. It's unthinkable for me to even fight with words. I never fought with them with words. Now you are asking me to fight with arrows, shoot arrows at them. I never shot even a angry word at them. Now I have to shoot arrows at them. Katham. How can I do it? How can I shoot arrows at my grandsire and my guru? You should be katham pratiyotsyami. Why not? Etau pujarhau. These two are worthy of worship. Bhishma, my grandsire. Drona, my guru. They are worthy of worship. I am very dear to my grandsire. I am his waris. Arjuna felt he is the waris of Bhishma. And I am my guru's pet. I am the most favorite for my guru. I don't know whether you know the in kindergarten and all, Chinmaya blossom can be taught. Teacher's pet, poetry, chubby cheeks, dimple chin, rosy lips, teeth within, curly hair, very fair, eyes so blue, lovely too. Teacher's pet, is that you? And then you point to yourself. So I am my guru's pet. I am his pet instrument. How can I shoot my own teacher? How can I shoot my own grandsire? You should be katham pratiyotsyami. They are pujarhau. They are worshipful. They are worthy of worship. I must worship them with flowers. That's what you might have seen in the war and all. Telugu movies are all very dramatic. First Arjuna will shoot arrow. First the arrows will go and fall at the feet of Bhishma and Drona. You don't try that on the guru and all, because your shooting is such, it may hit the leg. So when Arjuna shoots, the two arrows goes near the feet of Bhishma and Drona. And Bhishma and Drona bless. Or arrow namaskar. You do only with your words, please. Don't with your arrows and all. With words you can put on the feet. So I must worship them with flowers, not shoot them with arrows. Hey, Harisudana, he says. Harisudana means one who is the killer of enemies. Hey, Krishna, you only killed your enemies. Arjuna forgot, because delusion, he forgot Krishna killed his own uncle. Arjuna forgot that. And next, Arjuna continues. Very, very horrible. Let us see the next verse. So this was Krishna. Arjuna says, hey Krishna, how can I kill my grandsire and my guru? They are worthy of worship. I should not even shoot haughty words also I can't shoot. So Arjuna laments and cries again. Verse number 5. Guru nahatva hi mahanubhavan.
Guru nahatva hi mahanubhavan.
Shreyo bhoktum bhaikshyamapi haloke.
Shreyo bhoktum bhaikshyamapi haloke.
Hatvarthakamamstu guru nihaiva.
हत्वार्थकामांस्तु गुरूनिहैव
Bhunjiya bhogan rudhira pradigdhan.
भुञ्जीय भोगान् रुधिरप्रदिग्धान्.
So beautifully, even his crying is very nice. Gurun ahatva hi mahanubhavan shreyo bhoktum vaikshyamapi ihaloke. He means indeed. Mahanubhavan gurun ahatva ihaloke vaikshyam bhoktum api shreyaha. So he said, Gurun ahatva, not killing my gurus. Who are they? Mahanubhavan. Mahanubhavan means Maha Anubhava. Those who have gone through great experiences. Imagine Bhishma, what an experienced man. His entire life for the sake of others. His whole life was a sacrifice. Mahanubhavan. That's why they're called as great souls, because of their great experiences. And they are called Guru. Why Guru? Great masters. Mahanubhava or great masters. Why great, if you think? In Krishna himself will say, Gurunapi dukkena na vichalyate. Gurunapi dukkena means even the greatest sorrows cannot shake them. Like even the greatest storms cannot shake the mountain. Like that, these masters. Gurunapi dukkena, greatest sorrow also cannot shake. Bhishma's life we saw. Right? So these are Mahanubhava. So Mahanubhavan Gurun ahatva ihaloke vaikshyam bhoktum api shreya. Arjuna is saying, hey Krishna, it would be better, it is better to eat the bread of beggary in this life than to kill those great masters. I cannot kill those great masters. I better live and learn to eat the bread of beggary. I was begging before, so I don't mind continuing. I don't mind eating the bread of beggary in this life. Then to kill the great masters, the great teachers. They are exalted teachers. How can I kill them? They are great masters, Mahanubhavs. They can withstand any sorrows, but I can't kill them. So Gurun ahatva, it is better not to slay them. It is better that I eat the bread of beggary than to kill the great masters. So Gurun ahatva hi mahanubhavan shreyo bhoktum vaikshyam api ihaloke. It is better to beg, eat the bread of beggary than kill the great masters. Then hatvartha kamanstu guruni ihaiva bhunjiya bhogan rudhira pradigdhan. So Arjuna is saying, hey Krishna, if I kill the gurus, gurun hatvatu, whereas if I kill these gurus, what will happen? Iha eva bunjiya bhogan artha kaman rudhira pradigdhan. So if I kill these gurus, the enjoyment after killing them, what will I enjoy? The kingdom I get, the victory, the wealth and pleasures of the kingdom, they all will be stained with their blood. And my throne will be placed on their skulls. So whatever I enjoy will be stained by their sacred blood. And I'll be sitting on a throne. And where is the throne? Throne is placed on their skulls. I can never imagine that. And if I'm eating the rice balls, the rice will be soaked in their blood. It's not avakai. In their blood. How can I? Hey Krishna. So when you're even when you're in a sad mood itself, you can't enjoy your food. But if you start thinking that all your food is soaked in their sacred blood, how can I eat? So it is better to eat the bread of beggary than killing my grandsire and guru. I cannot kill them. If I kill them, whatever I enjoy will be stained by their sacred blood. Whatever I'm eating will be soaked in their blood. So it is better to eat the bread of beggary than killing these great Mahatmas, great souls. Thus Arjuna feels. And next verse. Verse 6. Na chaitat vidmah kataranno gariyaha.
न चैतद्विद्मः कतरन्नो गरीयः
Yadva jayema yadivano jayeyuhu.
यद्वा जयेम यदि वानो जयेयुः
Yaneva hatva na jijivishamaha.
यानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषामः
Eva sthitah pramukhe dhartarashtraha.
तेव स्थिताः प्रमुखे धार्तराष्ट्राः.
In this verse 6, Arjuna declares, Hey Krishna, IDK. Arjuna is texting Krishna, IDK. IDK means, I don't know. I don't know what. Na katarat. Na chaitad vidmah. Kataranno gariyaha. Na katarat gariyaha. Etat na cha vidmah. Katarat means of the two. Na katarat gariyaha. Etat cha na vidmah. I do not know which of the two will be better for us. I do not know. Na katarat gariyaha etat na vidmah. Of the two, I don't know which will be better. So Arjuna was on the horns of a dilemma. It's a nice story that, in India and all, Sami Vandadu, they say the talk, Telugu and Andhra and Tamil Nadu. So one person, as though he got possessed, he starts jumping and jumping with all the neem leaves and all. And he was jumping and jumping and then pointing at one man, he says, Hey, you, if you go home, your wife will die. And if you don't go home, you will die. That's what he declares. Imagine you are there and you are told, if you go home, your wife will die. And if you don't go home, you will die. What will you do? What will you do? Swamiji, that's a very great chance, Swamiji. I will definitely go home. That will be you. But this man loves his wife more than himself. So he starts thinking, if I go home, my wife will die. If I don't go home, I will die. And my wife will be alone. What should I do? Imagine, this is called horns of a dilemma. Luckily for him, there was a Swami sitting under. And this man, after declaring this, jumping with the neem leaves and all, if you go home, your wife will die. If you don't go home, you will die. Saying that, he falls unconscious. So you can't ask him. He's unconscious. And he will not get up till next day. Now what to do? So luckily, there was a Swami sitting under the tree. So he goes to the Swami and says, Swamiji, I don't know what to do. That man, I don't know, he was jumping and I don't know whether to believe him or not believe. Because he says, if I go home, my wife will die. I don't want my wife to die. And he said, if I don't go home, I will die. And I don't want to die and leave my wife helpless. What should I do, Swamiji? And the Mahatma looks at him and says, okay, if you go home, what will you do? So Swamiji, when I come back early morning, I start. So my wife packs for me. She gives me breakfast. I eat my breakfast and start walking. She packs me lunch and dinner. So I had my lunch. But I thought I'm returning home maybe little before So that the dinner, whatever dinner my wife makes, I'll eat that. So my wife will eat this leftover dinner, whatever she kept for, because she wants to give me fresh. So she will eat this, the packed one, and I will eat what the fresh food she made. That's what will happen. She'll serve me fresh and she will eat this. And if you don't go home, what will you do? Then since if I cannot go home, I have to eat this food, whatever she packed for me, I have to eat. Then Swamiji says, why don't you keep that food little far away and slowly from with a stick, try to open it. So that bundle slowly with a stick, he opens that cloth bundle slowly. When he opens the box also with the stick, from that a cobra hissing out. Moment this man he comes to the Swami. And the Swami says, don't do anything, it will go away. It is only out of fear only, it will sting, it will bite. So don't do anything to it. It is a forest-free animal. So leave it alone, it will walk out. And that serpent saw that there is no hazard, there is nobody to hurt. So slowly it comes down and slides out and goes into the forest. See that? So analyze. Whenever you're in the horns of a dilemma, what to do, what not to do, see the pros and the cons. Whenever in dilemma, always see the pros and cons. And then based on the data should be my decision. So how to decide? Gurudev always told us, first collect the data. Having collected the data, then based on the data, you should decide. Not based on your likes and dislikes, ragadvesha. If you decide based on ragadvesha, your own likes and dislikes, even if the decision is right, you are wrong. Because accidentally it is a right decision. So never take a decision based on your likes and dislikes. Based on data should be your decision, not on your likes and dislikes. And when you take the decision based on your likes and dislikes, then sometimes it may be right, but it is not right. And suppose you take the decision based on data, even if the decision is wrong, you are not wrong. Because when somebody asks, how did you take this decision? You say, sir, this is the data available. This was the data available to me when I took the decision. With this data, what will you decide? Any intelligent person with that data, intelligence and common sense will decide how you have decided. So always having collected the data, think what an intelligent person will decide. Intelligent person with common sense. So any intelligent person with common sense will decide what you are deciding. That is called decision making. So whenever you collect the data, having collected the data, think how an intelligent person with common sense will decide. And you decide in the same way. So when somebody questions you, how did you decide? It is wrong. It's such a wrong decision. How did you decide this? So this was the data available. With this decision, what will you decide? And that person has to agree to you. Oh, if that was the data available, naturally this is the decision. Then later, new data came. With reference to the new data, my earlier decision is wrong. It's not your fault. Therefore, whenever you're collecting data, also don't start collecting data for your lifetime. You should put a deadline for data collection. This is the deadline for data collection. On that deadline, whatever data you have collected, and see till the last moment what data can be collected. Then with intelligence and common sense, decide. Not based on your likes and dislikes. Decision making. So this is how Gurudev told us. So here Arjuna says IDK. I don't know. I don't know what. What is the outcome? I don't know. Na katarat gariyaha etat na vidma. I don't know. I do not know which of the two will be better. He was in a dilemma. Yadva jayema, yadiva no jayeyu. Yadva jayema. Whether we should conquer them, or yadiva naha jayeyu, or they should conquer us. Imagine, in the battlefield you are fighting, fight unto death, and you start thinking, is it better that he kills me or I should kill him? What is this? This is what is Arjuna's situation. I do not know which is better, whether I should allow them to kill me or I should kill them. What a situation. Arjuna's sthiti, this Arjuna's sthiti is so pathetic. So yadva jayema, yadiva no jayeyuhu. And then he adds, why are you saying this? What is better? Which is better? Whether we should conquer them or allow them to conquer us? Why are you saying this? He says, because yaneva hatva na jijivishamaha. Because yaneva hatva, after killing them, after killing whom? Na jijivishamaha. We do not want to live. We don't feel like living in, because after my kith and kin are dead, what is the use of living? We will not like to live. So yaneva hatva na jijivishamaha jivatum icham. We don't wish to live because they're all dead. What is the use? So yaneva hatva na jijivishamaha te avastitaha pramukhe dhartarashtraha. They, those sons of Dhritarashtra, having killed whom we don't want to live, they are standing in front of us. If enemies are standing in front of me, I don't mind. I can kill all of them. These are my own cousins. They are my own relations. After killing them, what will I live for? So therefore, hey Krishna, I don't know. IDK. So IDK, I don't know which of the two will be better for us, whether we should conquer them or they should conquer us. They, the sons of Dhritarashtra, after killing whom we will not like to live, they are standing in front of us. So there is no win-win situation here. This is how Arjuna is arguing. He's arguing because Krishna is condemning his thinking. Because Krishna is condemning, Arjuna is arguing. He thought he would gain nothing from the war because Arjuna forgot. He forgot his nature. He thought the war is between his guru and grandsire. The war is not between grandsire and guru, Bhishma and Drona. The war is not between them. Whenever a war rises, it is not war, it's a war of ideals, war of ideas. And ideas have no hands and legs. You have to provide hands and legs to the ideas, to the ideals. So here the ideals are clashing. The war is between dharma and adharma, righteousness and unrighteousness. Arjuna totally forgot this. He thought, Arjuna, fighting my grandsire, my guru. So I and my. Whenever this my situation arises, imagine, everything is distorted. This is Arjuna Sthiti. So the role identification must be realized. You might have seen in the movies, so many movies they describe this. I was watching that movie called Lagan. Lagan was a very nice movie, that cricket team. In Lagan, the other team, you may have your own brother, yet you should catch, not miss the catch. But there you saw, isn't it? So it is my own. If anybody else does anything, you are ready to, but your own. If somebody does a crime, punish him, hang him, all that you can tell. But if it's your own only child, at that time, all thinks nobody is perfect. He fell into bad company. My son is very good, Swamiji, but somehow he fell into bad company. If your son is very good, why the bad company did not become good? If you ask that, the father will get very angry. Swamiji, I came to you to explain, and I'm giving all donations, and this is what they're telling me. My son is good, but he fell into bad company. Therefore, he became bad. And I have to keep quiet. I will never say again, if your son is good, why the bad company did not become good? I can never say it again. So this is a sad condition. So Arjuna's condition is like this. He says, hey Krishna, IDK, I don't know what to do. So here we leave Arjuna. And next verse, at least he realizes. What he realizes, we will see. Now he says IDK, I don't know. But next verse, he comes little bit to his senses and he explains his condition. What it is, we will see tomorrow. Hari Om.
Chinmayam Shashisekharam Paramanandam Gurumasraye. Chinmayam Shashisekharam Paramanandam Gurumasraye. Yajna pracharakam bhavabheshajam gurumasraye. Yajna pracharakam bhavabheshajam gurumasraye.
Please do namaskaram to the Arati.